Hi, my name is Laia Abril. I'm an artist from Barcelona. My practice is research-based art practice. I work with photography, text, video, and sound. And I'm presenting my new long-term project, History of Misogyny, the new chapter on Mass Hysteria at Elysée. Although it's not the history of misogyny, it's a history of misogyny, meaning that it's quite personal process in selecting the chapters and selecting the topics, and myself reacting to what I learned through the process. In Nepal, where I was researching about menstruation myths and all the situation over there, I come across these very strange stories in which suddenly many girls, especially schoolgirls, started to faint, started to have trance episodes, started to have paralysis, and no one could explain why. No one found any physiological reason, and it almost only happened to girls. And from there on, I started to research in these episodes, which I know now are called psychogenic illness, and that's how the project started. Psychogenic illness is also called mass hysteria. Actually, mass hysteria would not be an appropriate way to talk about this, but I thought it would be interesting to reappropriate the word, because obviously we have a very strong connection with the word hysteria and how it's been used through history to control women and to also minimize women's suffering. It's a quite complex term, and obviously it happened since the beginning of time, which is also something I show in the exhibition. And nowadays we have a different interpretation of what we used to give interpretations in the 15th century with witches, or in convents, where also women have these episodes where they would faint suddenly, or they would have some sort of illness or sudden illness that no one would explain what was going on. Through this investigation, I was working with anthropologists, sociologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and I came across to one explanation which it really struck me, which is that this could actually be a proto-language of protest that women have been used along history without being conscious. This opened a new way of understanding this disorder and having a lot in consideration how society oppression could be the trigger and the cause of it. So that's why in the exhibition we also connect the idea of women protesting with the idea of women fainting, women and having this kind of shutdown situations. One of the hero pieces of the Cambodian case study that is in the show that visualizes this phenomenon in which thousands of women faint every year in the factories, in the garment factories in Cambodia where women work, is the Lightbox that you find just at the entrance of the exhibition. This Lightbox is composed by a collage of 100 satellite images from the different factories where these cases happen. And this collage is on top of a map of the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge, of the dictatorship and genocide that happened in the 70s in Cambodia. What is fascinating about this is the way some of these women explain why this could be happening, why these faintings could be happening, is because they feel that the fact that some of these factories had been built on the top of the mass graves of these genocides is being completely disrespectful to their ancestors and the people who passed away. There is this anthropologist who believe that these faintings could be a reenactment of the transgenerational pain of the killings of their ancestors. And that's why the connection with the land and the religious beliefs and the spiritual beliefs that they have about how we are destroying the land, it's also very important in this case, and it speaks about the connections between all women and the women who suffer in the past. There is a lot that is very personal to me, and I want to understand why the things happen. And it gives me some relief and hope to understand why things happen, and I think I aim more to share that with people and to help them to see things from a different perspective, that are actually looking for change what they think.